Welcome to Android Dialogues, where we have bite-sized conversations with people from the Android community. I'm Chuki Chen, and today we are speaking with
Jono Poltrack.
Hello, Jono. Where are you based and what do you do?
I'm based in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, pretty much the middle of nowhere, a little bit east of Pittsburgh. I do some development, but I also work in the e-learning industry.
Cool. And how do you get started with Android?
Well, I got started with Android actually back with Google Glass. I started working early on with Google Glass, and I was only using the web-based APIs, and I thought, well, this isn't going to be good enough. And when I started to learn Android, it turned out Android Wear came out, and I kind of shifted my focus from Google Glass to Android Wear while I learned Android.
Great. So I actually know Jono through Virginia, which I worked with her on the FitCat watch face. And today I want to talk to Jono because I got this email from Google saying that Android Wear 2.0 is going to roll out. Please update your app. So today we're going to talk about what does it mean, why do we need to update from 1.0 to 2.0, and how to actually do that. So I guess you have a few watch faces that's on the Play Store right now. Did you update all of them to 2.0?
Yes, we updated all of the watch faces to Android Wear 2.0 right before the release. It was interesting because I was only using the emulator at that point, and we actually didn't even test it as if the distribution actually worked, so we couldn't actually tell if it was in the store. So we were even a little surprised when we started talking to people and they were able to get the watch faces because we hadn't actually completely tested everything. But we have been through it. We've done it with all the watch faces, and it did work.
Cool. So what are the differences between like 1 and 2? Like what are the main things you need to pay attention to when you will update?
Yeah, I guess there's really two big things. One is the way that you distribute the APK in the Play Store. So before Android Wear 2.0, you would actually bundle your Wear app with a mobile app, and people would install on their phones, and then in turn, once you were installed on the phone, it would automatically install off to the watch. Now you're actually well, if you want to support 1.0, you have to keep your mobile Wear bundled APK out there. So if you want to support older watches that haven't upgraded, you want to still keep that. But now you also have to provide a second APK. And that APK, you need to, I think it's APK level 25. You need to set it at. That's the first thing. The second thing is it has to use the feature in the manifest, which is the watch, which you probably have already. But since you're building just the Wear only APK, not bundled with the mobile, that will actually show up. So those are two things. And then you want to make sure that you add, there's a new element that you add in the manifest where you actually say whether it's a standalone app or not. And basically there are three different derivatives of that. One is this is a standalone app. It'll run just fine without a mobile device. Then there's one, I think they call it semi-independent, which means it'll run standalone. You can install this app standalone, but it works better with a phone. And then if you don't include that at all, it actually means it requires a phone. So if it requires the phone, then you actually have to have the phone app to work with the watch. So you have to include that new little tag in your Android manifest just to let the distribution system know, if it's required with the phone. And then really all you have to do is in the Play Store, you switch to advanced mode. That allows you to upload more than one APK to production at a time. And when you do that, it's a little frightening because you have your latest APK, which is supporting Android Wear 1.0, which is the one that's bundled as mobile. And it's not really clear that you're adding another APK that will sit parallel with it. You just kind of run through the process as if you're adding a new APK. But when it sees that you're targeting the watch, it actually figures out that, hey, this one is for watches specifically, and it actually releases them side by side. And that's really about it. Maybe 20 minutes per app for me once I had it figured out.
Wow. So my question is, if I don't do any of these things, will people that have Android 2.0 still be able to get my app, or I have to go through these steps?
You have to go through these steps. Yes, you will not be able to install the Android Wear apps that are bundled with the phone. That automated install process won't work anymore.
So I feel like FitCat is in the third category. I still need a companion app. So how do I actually make it so that I still have that 2.0 version, but I will need two APKs, right? Because you make it sound like one APK is just for the watch, and then how do I upload the companion
Yep,
APK
you
for the
would.
phone?
Yeah, you would actually make a. You would actually upload another APK for the phone app, and so that would actually tie those two things together. So, and then it works. It's very similar to the way it worked in Wear 1.0, where it's actually registered as a configuration activity. So all that process still works the same. Now, I haven't done a lot of the updates to things like, you mentioned that you can go directly to the internet from the watch. And that is true. And I haven't done a lot of those updates yet. So I don't have a lot of experience there. I do know that those messaging APIs, that the data layer is still there, so you can use it, but it's not recommended anymore in Wear 2.0. So, in the case of installing the app or your watch faces on a watch, you definitely have to make the updates for 2.0, but you can still rely on that messaging layer to actually be there if you want to use it. Right. I mean, the good news is you're available to all of the iPhone users now without Google selecting you and specifically putting you in the app, but then you have to actually do that build for it. So
I would assume though that the iPhone one only supports either the standalone or semi-standalone one, like you cannot have a companion app, right?
Yeah, interestingly, actually, when Virginia was speaking to somebody, and I had a question very similar to you when I was doing the update. Some of our watch faces have a companion app on the mobile device. You don't need it, but it allows you to customize things like the background or change out the watch hands and things like that. And you can't do it. We don't have a wearable configuration activity on the wearable device. You have to use the mobile if you want to do it. So I had a question about how, what is the user experience like? If I'm a user and I use the new, Wear-based Play Store and I get this watch face, how does the user know that there's a companion activity?
Right.
Is it right there? And I haven't been through, I haven't seen it yet. But what they told me is, as long as you have the two, you basically have your project in the console, and as long as you upload the APKs, you're targeting the watch and then targeting the mobile device, they're somehow paired together. But very interestingly, and the reason I bring it up is this person actually told us you should really think about deprecating the mobile configuration activity, because they thought people would use them, and they thought that would be a really easy way, an easier interface to actually customize the watch. But what they're finding in practice is that's not really happening, and they're finding that people are using the wearable configuration activities and not the mobile configuration activities. So for us, that's a much bigger change. So we haven't even stepped into that yet, but I think moving forward, we'll definitely look a lot closer at just keeping things on the watch. And as you said, then the iPhone users get all of the same functionality that the Android users do as well.
Interesting. Yeah, because the thing is, the way like I said, just the way you have to have a watch app. So what I actually did, not the watch app, the phone app. So what I actually did was, initially that was kind of just the packaging app, and it doesn't even show up on your phone, and then people get really confused because they downloaded something and nothing happened. So I actually changed it so that the phone will have an activity that looks like the watch face, but it's just in the activity. And then since I have that, I thought, I can add some new functionality. So I actually added some Google Games integration. So there's a leaderboard, right? So I'm not going to have the leaderboard on the tiny little watch. That just doesn't make any sense. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I can understand, the configuration activity. It doesn't make sense to have it as a part of a separate standalone phone app, because it sounds like statistics shows that people don't actually use it. But for FitCat, I feel like I don't necessarily want to rip that functionality out either, right? I still want the leaderboard in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you have enough in the mobile app that it's not just configuration of the watch itself. There's value to the mobile application part of FitCat itself. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So I mean, let me just kind of think it through out loud with you, since I'm not quite sure how this will work. So it sounds like there is, on the watch itself, a Play Store that you can directly get the watch faces now, so you don't have to go through the phone. Is that kind of like the only way to get or you can still go through the phone to get your watch faces.
So I am not entirely sure. I've only used an emulator that I had actually on a computer that wasn't even on a network. So I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you, if there's a way to do it through a phone or not.
So like, so what my question is like, so since I have both of the APKs, if someone download it on the watch, will it automatically know that this watch is paired with this phone and there's a companion app, and then it will automatically also download that on the phone?
No, and I don't know the exact name of it, Chuki, but there is actually a new API that you can use that oh boy, I wish I had it in front of me right now. There is actually an API that they recommend using if your phone app is required, where you could actually, when your app is installed, so when you install FitCat on the watch, the watch can detect whether your mobile app is on the mobile device, and if not, you can pop up a notification which takes them to the store on the phone to download it and install it.
Okay, that's good to know. And then the other way, I guess, is also, it's a little bit trickier. Like if they found FitCat on the phone Play Store, and then how do they know that this is actually, you need to do something extra on the phone to get, no, on the watch to get it? Because they will probably just see it on the phone and say, oh, okay, it's a phone app, and then they wouldn't think about getting it on the watch. Whereas previously, it will automatically push it out to the watch. So, yeah.
Maybe some interesting user interface choices could help with that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't even think that FitCat on the phone would necessarily know whether you have a watch paired. Like, I don't know if there's an API for that. If there's no API for that, I can't tell the users like, hey, by the way, there is a watch face you should download. So that's kind of confusing, very confusing for me. The fact that like these two are divorced but still related, like, it's like, okay, like, I mean, for some people, you know, the two things walk their separate ways. That's fine. You may even just, you know, never see the phone app again ever. But there are definitely situations like FitCat where I would like to give them the option to get the phone app if they want, or the other way. But well,
you know that you might want to look into. I think, and again, I'm going by memory from API documents that I read a long time ago.
Sure.
But there might be a way in the in that data layer, the messaging between where you can actually detect nodes.
Yeah.
So you might be able to use that from the phone to detect if there is a watch there.
Anybody out there listening? and then someone's listening is like, ooh, okay. That's a good idea. So cool.
I'll bet you somebody has a gist of that on GitHub somewhere.
Yeah, see? Like, this is my philosophy. If I vocalize my problems, like, then we can all brainstorm and maybe come up with something. Cool. I think I got a few good pointers on what to do. So, like, the summary for myself is, well, if you do nothing, then people on the latest version of Android Wear, Android 2.0, would not be able to use FitCat, my app, which is sad because it's very cute. So I want
It is very cute.
I want people to be able to do that. So I would need to figure out a way to do that, which I think it sounds like the simplest way is to add the manifest that you were talking about and mark it as companion app required, and then continue to use the data layer. And then when people discover FitCat on their watch, then hopefully, I need to look into that just to like confirm. Hopefully, then they will tell them, like on the watch, and say, hey, make sure you also get the companion app on the phone to make your app work as intended. So that sounds like the minimum I would need to go through. And then beyond that, if like I could also then update a version of the companion app such that it knows to tell the watch that, hey, go to the store on the watch and download FitCat so that you can have it on your watch as well.
Absolutely. Well, good luck. And if I can do anything, feel free to reach out.
Great. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Jono. If people want to find you on the internet and follow all the good work you do, where can they find you?
Jono Poltrack on Twitter or jonopoltrack.com.
Great. Thank you so much, Jono. Now I feel like I'm ready to actually go and migrate this thing.
Great, Chuki. Glad I could help, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.